everyone, my name is Vishal and welcome to the Python Beginner series. This series is intended for all the learners who want to learn Python from scratch or want to get started with programming with Python. So, before getting into Python, let's understand what is programming. In the sense, first we will understand what is a computer program. So, to understand this, there are a few things that we need to um, be clear about. That is, when you write a particular program, or you can say a computer program, there is a task that is to be achieved. Means there will be always a problem statement that you will solve by writing a computer program. So here, for example, I have taken a task of bringing a glass of water for myself. Okay, and I will try to instruct machine the same task. So in this case, machine is not your brother or sister or any of your family member. So that if you say bring a glass of water to it and it will understand, it would not, obviously. That's the reason why we will have to define clear and detailed approach to address this task. So this could look something like this, as on the screen. Step 1, go to the kitchen. Step 2, get the glass from the kitchen stand. Step 3, fill the glass with the water. Step 4, bring the glass to me. So this step by step approach in programming is called as an algorithm. And what is a program? Set of instructions that a computer follows to perform specific task and get the relevant results. So here the task is to bring a glass of water. Set of instructions is nothing but what we discussed in algorithm, and when you tell the same set of instructions to the computer, it becomes a program. Now say if I in our plain English, if I say a playing is cricket Vishal, does this make any sense to you? This sentence is not properly organized, right? The proper statement would be Vishal is playing cricket. That means the first statement that I said was grammatically wrong. Similarly, in programming language, also there is grammatical set of rules to write a program. And this grammatical set of rules is called as syntax. Apart from this, we also need to know one more term, that is compiler. So compiler is nothing but translator in layman terms. Say there are two entities A and B and they want to speak to each other. However, A speaks only Marathi language and B speaks only Hindi. Then there should be a translator in between so that A and B can communicate. Similarly, in programming, we need a compiler because whatever code or source code or instructions we will write, it will be written in high level language. It may be C++, it may be Java or a Python. Okay. However, these languages are not understood by the machine. Machine understands only on-off signals, that are electrical signals. That is, machine understands only zeros and ones. So there should be some translator, and that translator is nothing but a compiler in programming terms. Now, if we are clear with all these terminologies, let's move to Python introduction. So Python is high level, dynamically typed, object oriented programming language. Um, Guido Rossum began working on it in late 1890s and was first released in 1991 as Python 0.9.0, and then it was followed by 2.0 and then 3.0 in 2008 and so on. So this is just to give you a little info on how Python evolved. All right. So the time when Python came in, it came in before Java. However, Python was very less popular when its first version was released, and Java became more popular. Like years passed, in 2010 somewhere, Python got popular than Java because of the emergence of the fields like data science, data analytics, machine learning, AI. This is because when these fields um, started growing, they had companies had resources, those were having knowledge of a particular domain. However, as data started gaining importance, data science and data analysis also became very critical for all the companies. So the companies decided to give some kind of programming knowledge to achieve the same for their employees, because there were not enough resources to work in data science and data analytics. So when doing so, the companies got to know that Python was a language that was easy to learn than Java or any other language, and got popular again, and people started preferring Python. So apart from that, why should be Python used, or how different is Python? So Python has more than 1,37,000 libraries. Okay, libraries in the sense, as an analogy, you can take an example of your college library. So that is just one library. Okay, so imagine there will be 1,37,000 such libraries. In that library, there will be a number of books. In that a number of books, each book will have some number of pages, and then those pages will have a number of sentences, or you can say paragraphs. All right. So what we do when we study for exams in a college is that whatever required content, we just prepare notes of it or read it, consume the knowledge, and just prepare it for the exam. We don't sit and write the entire book itself. Right. Similarly, in Python, when we do coding, we make use of these libraries. We actually import whatever stuff is required from these libraries in our program and use it, and get the task achieved. Okay, the next advantage is that Python is platform independent. It can be run in Windows, Mac OS, Unix, and Linux. Okay. It's a open source. Then integration with other languages like C, C++ is easy. It uses elegant syntax, hence very easy to learn. Okay, so this is about introduction to Python. Now we will see how this Python works internally. Okay, now, the way Python works internally is that you first write a code or a program in some code editor. It could be anything, it could be Python idle, it could be Notepad, anything. You save that file as .py. After that file is saved, the compiler compiles that files and converts it into .pyc file, that is nothing but a bytecode. This bytecode is then passed to the Python virtual machine, which converts it into zeros and ones, the language that is understood by a processor. The processor executes the program, and the actual output is generated. Here you can see the compiler together with Python virtual machine is termed as Python interpreter. So to see this procedure in detail, or internal working in detail, we will write our first program. Just as a heads up, Python is already installed in this machine. I open this idle environment of Python, that is integrated development and learning environment, full form for this. When you click on this, it will open like this. These three arrows mean you are in the interpreter of that Python. I want to write my first program, so I open a new file here, print hello world. The intention of my first program is to print hello world on the output screen. Okay, so I save this file. I will save it on the desktop somewhere, and my file name is hello world. If you can see here, my file is getting saved as a Python file. Okay, save. So that's it. The file got saved. Now I will run this file, so that after running, I should be able to see this hello world message getting printed on the output screen. To run this file, I can either use PowerShell or I can use CMD. Anything would work. So I'll just go with PowerShell, Windows PowerShell, this one. Yeah, I will change the directory to the folder where this file exists, hello world. So I'll just take the location from here, right click, properties. I'll take this location, put it in PowerShell, enter. Now I am in the directory of my saved file. To run the Python file, this is the command python space file name, that is hello world dot py. Okay, here it is. You got the message hello world and you have successfully run your program. Okay, now when you run this program, as I said earlier, just going back to these, all these steps are taken care. Okay, all the steps are performed in the background. So first two, those are obvious, you saw it, we did it. Now let's see this these two more steps in detail. Okay, you can run a program directly by running this command python, no issues at all. However, what we will do, we will separately compile the file first, and then we will see how does bytecode look like. Is it really not in zeros and ones, so that processor does not understand? All these things we will verify it right away. So to verify this, we have this commands python -m py underscore compile hello world dot py. Okay, enter, and you would see nothing got displayed, means the file has got compiled. Now I want to see where is that file. So I have this command ls double underscore pycache. Okay, again double underscore and enter. So this is hello world.cpython. This is the file that got generated with pyc extension. Okay, as I told you earlier, that compiler will generate a bytecode that is a .pyc extension file. Now let's see how that file looks like. So that there is a command again, cat pycache, again double hyphen, sorry, not hyphen, underscore hello, the file name, that is hello world dot cpython 312.pyc. This entire file name we would have to provide. Once you type enter, you should get the output. Give me some error. Okay, let's see what the error is. I think I misspelled pycache. Yeah, so this is how the output looks like. This is actually how the bytecode looks like. So we have seen these two steps in detail. Now after this step, it is sent to the Python virtual machine, which in turn converts this bytecode in zeros and ones, passes it to the processor, and the program runs the program, and the output is displayed for us. So this is how it works. Now this was just for your understanding that how internally Python works. No one is uh, going to ask you all these commands when you start working. This is just to show it to you and make your understanding better, that okay, when a python code executes, these many steps are involved for running a single program. And just to give you more clarity on how the file gets compiled and how does the bytecode look like. Okay, in our coming videos or in our coming sessions, we would be using integrated development environment, that is IDE. So this IDE is nothing but a software that combines common developer tools into a single graphical user interface. So for example, these many IDEs are available: Google Colab, PyCharm, Visual Studio, Spider, Atom, Jupyter, etc. Okay. However, we would be using Google Colab. So to use this IDE, we would need a Gmail ID so that we can log into the Google Collaboratory. All right. So to log into this Google Colab, you need to go and search for this page, welcome to Collaboratory, in the browser. So when you search this page, you can get the first link here. The Google Colab page will be displayed. If you it will ask you to sign in if you have the Gmail account. After you sign in, this will be displayed in front of you, and you can click new notebook. So I've already clicked new notebook and rename my file from here, and I would be writing the same code that I wrote in the Python file earlier. That is nothing but our first Python program. Okay, print hello world. And if I want to run this program, see, I'll just press or type on this play button, you can also use control plus enter. See, you can see here it is connected to Python 3 Google Compute Engine. Means what? You have logged into the Google Cloud environment, and this machine that it is trying to connect to run this code has Python installed on it, but that machine visibility is hidden from us because it is not required. It just runs the code on the machine in the that is there in the cloud, in the Colab laboratory, that is in the Google Cloud, and this code whatever we write is executed on that machine, and we get the desired output. You can also share this notebook with your friends. If you want to share, you can just enter here the Gmail ID of those friends, and you can this all these notebooks, whatever work you do will be saved here. You can go home, you can open the notebook. This is the current notebook that we all the notebooks will be displayed here. So that is the advantage over the normal Python idle that comes with Python installation. So whatever the coding part, whatever the next sessions would be coming, we would be doing here itself. We will be writing all our programs here. We'll be observing the outputs here itself. Okay, and I will be sharing whatever the work we are doing through a link for this notebook, or maybe soft copy of this notebook, whichever is feasible. Now, in our session, we did not install Python because Python was already installed. However, if required, I will provide you with the installation file, or maybe a link how to install Python on your machine. Okay, so that was all about Python introduction. What we did today is that we started with introduction to programming. We understood what is algorithm, then we understood what is a program, syntax, and a compiler. These terms you'll um, deal with Python quite often. That's the reason I explained these terms. Okay, and then um, when we saw the introduction of Python, we talked a little bit about how Python evolved. Then we talked about how and why Python is easy to learn, all those things. How Python is different and why we require Python due to emergence of different fields, as those fields are not restricted to a particular domain. So Python again is a general purpose language, and all these things we discussed. After that, we saw how Python works internally when we write a program. So we wrote our first program of hello world, then we understood what our ID is. These many IDs are there, or even more than this. However, we will be using Google Colab, that is online ID, and we logged into that ID and we saw how we can write our first code over there. Here we renamed our file, and whatever name we want to give, we gave it. We saw that we can open the existing file, and we can also um share this file with our friends or whomever required. We also noticed that this code gave us exact output as the Python install machine would give. However, this visibility where the Python is installed and where the code runs is hidden from us. So that's all about this first session. Rest of the part we will cover in next session. Thank you for listening to me, and we will meet in our next session. Thank you.